I'd like to welcome each and every individual to the Voices of Integrity for Parents. So this one's going to be, oh my goodness, this one's going to be on fire, just on fire. Okay, so what's our question for today?
So we were thinking, obviously, as the evolution of a child's life develops, so does the role that the parent plays in that child's life. Um, and we know that in certain points, in very early points in the child's life, they're literally dependent on the child or on the parent. Um, but then as you get older and as that child gets older and becomes themselves, the challenges that happen on the parenting front, I think, are oftentimes overlooked in terms of um, when they move out and start making their own decisions and decisions that um, you know, the parent may or may not like them to see, I guess. Like what have you noticed from adulting parents, or from parenting adults, sorry, my words are jumbled this morning, but what have you learned about that role evolution, so to speak, as someone leaves the house, so to speak, if that makes sense.
So for my children who are listening to this podcast, it's a joy. It's the most fulfilling thing as a parent to see your kids grow up and make great choices and apply all the things that you just absolutely, it's like a dream come true. Um, for my children who aren't listening to this, my podcast, so we have seven children. So it's the good thing about having seven children is that in any given time, hopefully at least one or two are making good decisions. Statistically, you know, or at a minimum, they're not making as bad decisions as some of the others. The bad thing about having seven kids is there's always at least one or two that are, my gracious, you just really okay. So for the children that, well, not my children, obviously. I'm talking about these are these are stories I've heard from other parents. It's miserable. It's absolutely miserable parenting adult children. I mean, it's interesting because all of our children left the house at 18. That was just a Boersma thing to do. That's the same thing that happened with my parents and my siblings. Like you're 18, you're out of that. Like how they birds push their babies out of the nest and they fly or they die. It's one or the other. That's how it is to be a Boersma. It's something in our you just do that. Um, but it's like it's weird because kids have this impression of their parents and they like I told my wife, I said, "Do you know why it's harder for a mom to have the kids leave the home than a dad?" She's like, "Do I want to know?" And I said, "Because the dad deals, sorry, don't have your grandkids shouldn't be listening to this. Okay, this is not a grandkid family or friendly. I'm just saying." So it's like the dad deals with all the crap. Like he just does. Now, again, I hate when there's stupid people who listen to podcasts. I'm not obviously anybody that's on because if you're listening to a podcast I'm involved with, obviously you must be smart. But if there's any stupid people on, they just randomly have no life. I shouldn't have to say, well, most dads, most moms, most of the time. Like, I hate stupid people that, Mark, that's not exactly perfect. I'm like, are you an idiot? Anyways, don't know why people don't listen to the podcast. But I'm fine with stupid people not. So it's like dads go ahead and generally have to deal with all the crap. And moms, they get all the benefit. And so moms, when the kids, leave, they cry. Like it's so traumatic for the mom when the kids leave the nest. For the dad, it's like, yeah, no, I don't have to deal with this stuff. But then, and so the kids are weird because, somebody said, you know, why God went ahead and created teenagers the way they did? And I'm like, no, I don't know why. And the guy said, because then you don't mind when they leave the house. They're a pain in the butt. They're just it's crazy. It's just crazy. And the kids are funny because the kids think you want them around. You don't want them around. You just don't. They're idiots. They're just, I mean, not my kids, of course. I'm just saying that I've heard parents say these things. And it's just like whose child are you? Like, do you just like, and my kids go ahead and say, Dad, you never were a child. What they mean is I didn't make stupid choices. Not none, but I learned from the stupid choices. Like, I'm like, that was a stupid choice and I learned from it. But a lot of kids don't. And so I told my kids, I don't know, probably starting at 3, like, when you turn 18, everything changes. See, before 18, I have to keep you. I'm not saying I want to. I have to keep you. And you have to stay here. The law requires it. A couple of my kids want to be emancipated. I'm all for it. Where do I sign? Give me something to sign up. Like, it's just, and so it's like after 18, you make a choice on what kind of relationship you have with dad. And I'll make a choice what kind of relationship I have with you. You're an adult. Like, you know what? There's a lot of people. This goes back to one of the previous podcasts, right? Like, there's a lot of young people out there. They don't have good dads. They don't have dads that'll tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I'm not here to go ahead and make you feel good. That's your mom or whoever else, your friends that are smoking weed or drinking with you. They'll tell you you're amazing. That's not being a good dad. A good dad's going to tell you what. And you know what? There's other kids out there your age that they didn't have a dad. They had a stupid dad or no dad at all and just told them what they wanted to hear. And it's like, it's miserable having adult. And then they get married. And it's like, are you kidding? So there's this book I'm reading, Generation to Generation, and Pastor Ryan, he went ahead and he shared some other stuff. And then I was talking to a Jewish guy of mine, a friend of mine, and last night, and it's like he said something I've never even heard. And he's getting me over the book. But he said, you marry the parent that you marry your spouse, the spouse you marry is the parent that you didn't connect with, that you didn't. I'm like, that makes all the sense in the world. Like my dad, my wife is like my dad, which is really strange. Like, this is not supposed to be said, but I'm not real concerned because my wife and my kids, they're not going to listen to these podcasts. And, if there was one that was listening, she's not going to go ahead and spread it around and say, you got to listen to this. Nobody listens, which is fine. It's okay. Because then it's like Beth Smith says, hey, you can use it as therapy. And so, but all my kids have married spouses like my wife. It's the weirdest thing. Like, it's the weirdest thing. I thought I was just cursed. Now, you're not supposed to say that. Like, you're not supposed to say, oh, after 40 years of marriage, I'm just supposed to say nice things about my wife, but she's a pain in the tush. Like, she just is. She just is. It's like, it seems like she struggles with learning. I mean, she's healing now, but it's 40 years for crying out loud. But we didn't find out until 35 years what was really going on. And it's like, and then I just found out a year ago, like 95% of the time, 6 months ago, 95% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, when she's angry at me. It looks like she's angry at me. She's not angry at me. Like, the concept is we're never angry at anybody other than ourselves, which is really a deep thought. It's like, really? I think so. Like, if somebody takes advantage of us, we look like we're angry at them, but we're not. We're angry at us for them taking advantage of us. We're never angry at somebody else. I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying this is what it seems to me to be. But she's not angry. She's angry at herself because of sometimes, a lot of times it's because the kid, she's angry. Why are you taking it out on me? Like, I mean, I remember when they were teenagers, there was a lot you can tell. Like Marissa, I love having her because she just wants to give me a hug. She's just like, this poor guy. Like, he's had some trauma. You think, you think it's crazy. Like it's crazy. Like we have 4 teenagers and she's all mad at him. I'm like, well, don't tell me. Tell them you're mad at them. Tell them you're disappointed. Tell them that you're fed up. Tell them you're not going to do it again. No, she's mad at me. Why are you mad at me? And so she's mad at her kids and she takes it out on me. She's mad at her parents and she takes it out on me. She's mad at her siblings. She's mad at the telemarketers. She's mad like everybody. Like, wait a minute, is that my wife on? Is she actually listening to one of my podcasts? See, there's this guy I know. He's been married over 40 years. His wife came up to him and said, honey, watch this, man. Women are tricky. I mean, comes up to him, but after 40 years, I think I'm starting to learn. So the wife comes up to him and says, he, like, we've been married over 40 years, and I was wondering what we could do to get some of the spice back, some of that really like stuff. He's like, he looks at her just like this, like when my wife went ahead and said, I think I've hurt you. You think? And I want to understand that hurt. Do you? I don't think. Anyways, so she's all nice and sweet to him, and he's like, He goes, So you want that? Yeah. Do you remember when you actually listened to what I said and you were actually interested? And she's like, yeah. Yep. Guess this is not going to happen. He's like, okay. Is this you, Roseanne, or is this one of our other kids?
It's
It's
me,
a six. Go ahead. Who's that?
Rosanna.
Okay. So you can jump in at any time for sure. Defend yourself. Otherwise, all the kids are going, you're picking on mom. I'm not
Oh,
picking.
I
Go ahead.
text all the I text all the other siblings,
Oh,
all
did
except for
you?
Katrina.
Okay. Yeah. Except who?
Katrina.
Why?
She has asked me not to she has asked me not to communicate with her about you.
Oh, so, right? So it's like here's, boundaries. So I only have one boundary. That's it. You'd think that my wife and my kids could go ahead and honor, respect one bound. Like, it's not complicated. This is not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. There's one boundary, and that's the only boundary I have for people.
What is that boundary?
Thanks for asking. I always appreciate when people are interested in.
That's not either.
No, don't be stupid. Like, just don't be stupid. And I didn't find out until like 6 months ago, a year ago. Like, are people stupid or ignorant? Like, so ignorance is not knowing what to do. Pretty simple. Like, I don't know. And stupid is not doing what we know. So Kernitha, she's a black woman. I think she's 66, 68, and did a podcast with her. Holy cow, that one. It's like 2 black women. Well, it's really like a black woman and a Latino woman. Those two that's interesting. Sit back. And so I'm like the Latino woman, man. I'll light her up. And so I told her, don't tell me you disagree, because disagreeing is arrogant and stupid. Like, it's just is. And if you say you disagree, I'm going to light you up every time. I don't care if you're a black woman. I don't care what your age is. So it's hard as a parent because you don't know what you're supposed to do. Like, you don't know what you're supposed to do. And with 4 daughters and 3 sons, it's like there's no rules. Like, what are you supposed to do as a parent? So there's this family, I heard about them being around the fire. And there was one of them that went ahead and asked, a daughter-in-law that asked. And I was thinking about that in my sleep last night, in preparation for today. And I'm like, Why did the kids get upset? Like, why were the children upset? I can tell you why the children were upset. They don't want to know. Children don't want to know how hard it is to be their parents. And why does a spouse of one of them, really go up and rise up and watch this? She's new to the family. Like, why? Because he doesn't want to know either. So it's like you all gang up and you all go ahead and they all gang up, and it's like, really? So it's hard. And then what if you get a stupid, son-in-law or daughter-in-law? What do you do then? Like, and then you get along, you get kids, grandchildren. And there was one guy that, a pastor that went ahead and said, there's some grandkids he liked and someone he didn't. I mean, I didn't know you could do this. Like, you could say, yeah, there's some I just don't like them. My heart goes out. They're just stupid. I just like one of my grandsons came up to me and I'm talking to an adult and he likes to play with this adult son. And he comes up and he just interrupts us. And it was weird. It's a pastor. And it's just weird. Like, the pastor just ignored him. And I did too. We just kept talking and the grandson just kept talking too. And it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, as a dad, it's simple. Just look at him. Like, my kids are trained. If I'm talking to another adult, you come up and you put your hand on my, arm, or you put it on so I know you're there. And then I'll speak to you when I'll speak to you at a proper time. Like, his son came up and interrupted him. He said, and he just looked at him, and his son stopped. And then his son just sat there patiently, and we talked for a couple of minutes. I said, you can take your son. Like, I felt bad for the kid. And it's like, so I don't know, is the dad an idiot? Like, am I supposed to talk to the dad? I mean, am I supposed to talk to the grandson? Like somebody's got to teach this kid something, because, like, is it really that complicated to say, if the dad doesn't like you or the mom doesn't like you, they're not going to let your kids play with you? Like, do you want any friends? Like, is this really brain surgery? Is it rocket science? And as the grandfather, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I think it also goes into like reading the room and learning how to read the social situations and dynamics that kid's going to be a part of for the rest of his life. Like, I think it might seem cruel in the moment, but I think it has a lifelong lesson there attached as well. Like, you don't just go up to random like, if this was two strangers and you wanted to become friends with them, the last way to do that would be to walk up to them and just start talking in the middle of their conversation.
Is it really that complicated? But the dad, he's kind of like that too, not the most socially aware, so he doesn't have any friends. So I guess it's okay to have a son that doesn't have any friends, because then you and your son can have what could possibly go wrong in that situation. I have social autism. I don't know what you call below social autism. Comatose, zombie, I don't know. I'm just like, if I can see something socially, I think somebody else should be able to see it, but they don't. But everybody trains everybody. It's just, it's just like and it doesn't seem to work. Like, it never seems to work with the stupid kids you have. Like, the stupid kids, they don't listen. They're adults. It's like, for crying out loud. Then I think back when I was, at 5 years old, I was more advanced than some of my kids have been at 20, maybe in their 30s. And I'm like, I don't understand how to deal with it. So you don't know. So you try all these different things. You try being quiet. That doesn't work. And you try communicating. That doesn't work. It's just weird. And they think they know so much. And it's like, really? Oh, not for me with my kid. I'm just saying, it's just like
The stories
Patrick.
that you've heard.
Patrick, he has 5 boys and a daughter, and he's the one that responded to the text. He just like if he was on, he'd be the same way. He'd be like, "Yeah, my kids." It's like, and my wife, she doesn't help. She actually hurts. She actually makes the situation worse. I'm not saying he would say that. Not for sure. I'd never say that. But it's like, honey, they're not 3 year olds. Like you can't cover for them. Like let them grow up. It is the most exciting thing as a parent to act. You just sit back and you just wonder, and then everybody's giving you advice like, well, nobody's died yet. Well, what happens when one of your kids does die? Then it's like, well, okay, your advice sucks. I mean, I really don't want another one to have happen. It's like, and people are like, well, you just let them, other adults, they don't help. And pastors and churches, they don't help. I mean, they're teaching from the pulpit. They're teaching from the pulpit. Like if mama's not happy, nobody's happy. If I was a woman, I'd stand up and say, that's offensive to me. Right in church, I just say, that's offensive. The world doesn't revolve around mom. I mean, it just doesn't. But you have these men that are seducing these women in church to go ahead and be stupid, and nobody confronts the men about it. Like, it's like, are you all idiots? I mean, I went ahead and said to one of the new pastors, and I haven't been kicked out of church yet. So I'm like, but I said to him, I said, I hate going to church with my wife and my kids and my grandkids. Hate it. Hate it. Just hate it. It's like, why? I feel like Israel and Hamas, like the church is Hamas. They're going to hold my wife and my kids and my grandkids hostage. So I can't go ahead and be the man and say, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. No, I have to comply because if they don't, they're going to go ahead and take it out on my wife. But they've got my wife trained and my kids trained. Just tell them what they want to hear. And it's like, really? Oh, this might be a 2-part series here. Marissa, what are you thinking right now? Other than this poor guy, he's got a.
No, I think you've had some very insightful comments. Yeah, I think it's interesting to hear about your perspective on raising adult children. I was thinking about my own parents. I feel like some of the dynamics almost opposite. Again, not that like think more so my mom dealt with all the stuff and my dad didn't, and I can kind of see that in the trans.
That's even harder. I can't even imagine if a mom has to do that. I know some women like that where the mom's the bad cop. Me, I was born to be the bad cop. I just figured I'm a man, nobody's going to like me and everybody's going to hate me and you know what? But if you're a mom and you have to do that, holy cow. It just rips your heart out as a man. You just don't have a heart. You just like this is what it's like. So I've seen that and I hurt for those women because it's like almost against the very even if they're my personality, they're still a woman, and it just and then the one that's the nice parent gets all ticked at the other one because the nice parent doesn't have any deep relationships.
Yeah.
And so they're jealous they're like, I'm so nice and you're so mean. No, you're an idiot and selfish. I mean, you can't say that until I think it's about 30 years of marriage. Then you can start being honest with your spouse. Before that, probably. Kids, new married couples, you can't go ahead and be this honest. Like, you know how they say in extreme sports, kids don't do this at home. Like, I'm just saying, don't do this until you turn 60.
I also wonder the dynamic of like you have 7 children and the first one leaves the house, right? There's something that happens there as the parent, but you have 6 still that are there, right? And then you do go through it again, and then you go through it, and there's like there's almost this I don't know what it is, right? But by the end of it, by the last child, there's like you've gone through this already. If there's only one, it's the first and the last time that
Right.
so it becomes like this you were everything and now you're gone, and it's like
Right.
really confusing. What do we do now? Like literally scurrying, right? Uh,
Right.
what did we met?
Especially if you're really connected into your children. But you're right. If there's one, like Ben, he once asked, he said, Dad, can I go on a rafting trip? And can I go down the river in a raft in a canoe? And I'm like, Ben, the river is like 5 feet. Like it's it's dangerous. Like it's dangerous. And I said, he says, well, I want to go with a friend. And I'm like, man, is he stupid? This poor kid is just stupid. So I go ahead and say, I go, well, what the parents, what the parents say? And he's like, well, it's so and so. And I said, oh, they're an only child. And I'm like, well, if their parent says yes, then you can. Like, I have 3 sons. Like, okay, like lose one, still got two. But there's so much pressure on that one child. Like, it's like you have no diversion. Like our kids would say, I liked when one of the other kids was misbehaving because then you wouldn't focus on me, Dad. And it's like, but if you're one, like all the attention, it's like my gracious. Like,
Yeah.
but you're happy because your parents adopt a whole bunch of other kids, and so then it's not all on you, and so you're like, oh, thanks, Mom and Dad, for having all these other kids. I mean, that could be a possibility. Any other thoughts?
This has been really interesting. What do you think?
Really interesting.
What's interesting about it?
Because we've been I've been trying to understand. I obviously know her parents from the moment we met in what, December or something like that.
Yeah, you met them. Yeah.
And I have I guess a backlog of things that I have heard about her parents, right? So I know her parents on a certain level, and I've heard about her parents on many other levels. So I'm trying to understand her parents' perspective so that I understand her a little bit better as well. And um that's the part where I'm still struggling. Like some of like being a parent of an only child, sure, you have the luxury of delicately attending to them in a manner that's not possible when you have 6 or 10 or whatever kids, because
Even two.
you can't, or even two, right? But it also comes with its fair share of
Oh, absolutely.
downsides, that because the stakes are so high, maybe real or not real, right? But like you want to get this right, and it's I don't know.
Right.
It's
And
just
the pressure on the one child is,
yeah,
I mean, I can't even imagine. It's like if I mess up, then my whole parents' existence is like wiped out. And it's like there's a lot of pressure, on that child too. And it's like, so I mean, this is the thing. Like, you ought to be training, Norman. You ought to be training other, young men. Like, I don't know. You're just smart. You just.
why do you say that or what?
Well, I mean, when Marissa and I connected, on that one podcast really deeply, you didn't feel threatened. You didn't feel like, oh my goodness. You just observed her and I connecting. You're like, whoa, that was a good lesson. Like, wow. And you learned how to do it, and it was fine. It was really cool. And then, I mean, again, like I just wonder, what are people thinking? Like parents, they really know their children. I'm not saying they're good parents. I'm just saying, and they really know their children. So it'd be good to study the parents to go ahead and understand and to, like, you don't ever compete against a dad as a man. You just don't. Like that dad, likely these days, he was there when she was born.
Yeah.
Like she came out of the womb. Like, like he, like he was there for all. Even if he's not that engaged of a dad, even if whatever, either way, he's her dad, you don't ever compete against a dad. You just don't. You get him on your side. You go ahead and then you try to double team her because she's a handful. Oh like, oh my goodness. Like you want alliances with the dad so he can compare notes. Like Jason, he said about his wife, like he's married for a couple, I don't know, he's married for couple months or something, and we're talking. He's like, Dad, like he's comparing notes. He's like, Dad, it's like she wants to go ahead and get in a fight. I'm like, right? He's like, no, I mean, she does. She says, I want to fight with you. I'm like, uh-huh. Like he thought I was going to be, she's my daughter. I understand this. He's like, what do I do? I'm like, I don't know. She's your wife. Go after her, buddy. Like, figure her out. I couldn't figure out. Like, you know, does she want to go ahead and, does she want to get pregnant? Because that's a good, fight and then have great makeup sex. Like, it's like, and then have babies. And then, it's like, it's all kind of wonky. You're just like, but you look at, the wild, like a couple of years ago, we had two huge turtles, in our pond. And I'm like looking and they're out in the middle of the pond. I'm like, are they fighting or having sex? I don't even know. Like, it's crazy. Like, this is nature. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, sorry. But you guys opened up that can of worms when you said you went to church and you went ahead and said they were talking about sex or something. I'm like, oh, we can talk about, okay, we'll talk about that. Any other thoughts?
Not really. I mean, we talked about that yesterday, actually. I was like, we can't forget, um, they know you maybe better in some ways than you know you.
Right.
Many.
And for a young woman, the same thing is true. You want to create alliances with the mom. Like you want it because you want to compare notes. He's as much as a handful or as you, maybe even more. And the sisters, you want to gang up on him and you need to do that. Like anything I'm saying about a woman is true about a man. Like, don't give women all the credit or all the attention for sure. Like you want the same thing in reverse. And then with the dad too, it's like, if you can go, you want to have as many alliances as you can. And that's probably one of the downsides, of being only a child. You don't learn how to create alliances. I mean, Marissa, she seems to be pretty, she seems pretty skilled at that. I don't know where she picked that up, but she seems to know how to create those alliances, which is good, right?
No, this has been good. This has been
Yeah.
really insightful.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot. Just we went on a 2.5 hour hike with her
Yeah.
parents yesterday, and
Oh,
it was just interesting the dynamic of I just was sort of observing or trying to observe a bit more and
I noticed you were.
how how they're how they play off one another and how it's like, because there's only three of them. It's not I don't have to look in the it's
right.
360 degrees. It's just three people right in front of me.
Right. I mean, and you have more, the more you have, it's not like if you have two kids versus one, it's not twice as complicated. It's like 20 times as and if the more you have, it's like, holy cow, there's a lot going on. But see, this is where, Norman, you could teach other young men too how to be curious. Like women love curious. Like Marissa, I mean, I don't know Marissa, I won't speak for her, but she's loving that you're, studying her parents, like, and she's terrified.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, man, this, like, but wait, ooh, it's like, and so, yeah, and it would be like, you want to really do something fun, Norman? Get them on a podcast. Like,
No.
like,
No. Not
Like-
yet.
We'll work on
Not
that.
yet. Someday.
or better yet, better than a podcast is go on a hike with me. Like, or a movie or go to church, anything together. I mean, can you imagine that amount of curiosity, you and I, with her parents? Like, she would, like she might pretend that she doesn't want it, but she does. Because she wants to. She really likes. She's like, I could gain all the experience of having multiple children, or multiple siblings just in an hour with Mark, with my parents and my boyfriend. Like if she really wants it. You can tell, just look at her face. She's like, oh
That's
my,
Mark, I'll work on it.
yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, the only thing probably more fun than that might be, Marissa,
good.
right? Bring me, get
That
me,
one instead.
get me, like get me to go ahead and be with his parents and his family. Oh,
That sounds great. You do
right.
his first, and then mine can go the next week. How's that
Okay.
sound?
Yeah, I'm game. Like it would be, oh my goodness, that would be so much fun.
In fact, I'll sign on the dotted line that I'm happy to have my parents on the very week after his. I'll sign it. Sure thing.
Right. And if the grandkids are there, that's even more fun. I mean, oh my goodness, when those grandkids start playing with, Grandpa Mark, the English guy, like, oh, they're going to have so much fun and giggle, and oh my goodness, whew, I can't wait for both. This is so exciting. All right, you guys have an amazing day.
Have a wonderful Sunday.
Thank
See
you, sir. You too. We'll see you guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
We're going to be talking to Melissa and then Roseanne after you leave, but you guys have other stuff to do. You guys got a life. I don't. So, go ahead and, you don't need to be curious about anything they might say. They're fine. So go ahead. We'll see you. So,
Bye,
Melissa,
guys.
so any closing comments or thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
Roseanne, any closing comments or thought? Oh, it says there's a loud environment here. Ooh, on my watch. It
You
didn't
kept that
talk.
a lot.
It didn't say that.
Talking is you.
It didn't say that until Melissa actually talked, and so that's a coincidence.
Interesting.
Do you have anything, Rosanna?
I don't. I think this is an interesting podcast
Why is that?
just because it's a different energy.
Yeah, it's is it gonna be filed in a place, where like some of my kids, they wouldn't want to watch it, which is fine, whatever. I get it. But someday they might. And so how do you get it into a system? How do you get it into a system where you deliver just the right things at just the right time? And so, like, Mark, if there was one thing you'd want your kids to understand is one is how much I love them. I'd like for them to see, I'd like for them to see how it's not going to serve them well to be entitled, self-righteous, or victims. To be thankful and humble and to take ownership. And so I'd like to teach them how not to use trauma as a weapon to teach people around you not to go ahead and be honest with you. I'd like to teach their significant others, yeah, people can like you if you tell them what you want to do. If you drink with them, smoke with them, do weed with them. But really, like Like, you're not going to have deep relationships. You're going to be superficial, surface, artificial, temporal. It's not going to amount to anything. And you're going to grow old. You're going to turn 30 someday, and then 40, hopefully, and then 50 and 60. When you you turn 40 or you turn 50, jeepers. You're going to look back on your life, especially as a man, and you're going to look back on your life, and then you're going to just say, well, what did I do? And then you're going to be jealous. And rather than working your ass off, in relationships and taking some risk, you're going to try to win people over just through telling them what they want to hear. And, you're not going to have any deep relationships. You just won't, like my dad did. So, a lot of stuff, a lot of opportunity, without question. If you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300, outside the US 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.